half each. What I did is I just cut them straight in half. We're going to medium dice them. So you go from the top. And turn. And then we're just going to throw them in. Same thing with our red onion. We're going to medium dice it. And just throw it right in. Okay, so the next thing that's going to go into our pan are carrots and turnips. In Morocco, they have turnips, they also have parsnips, they have carrots, they also have like different squashes, zucchinis, and things like that. We actually did a traditional Moroccan, the night before the wedding, what's that called? Rehearsal dinner. We did, I don't know. I barely remember mine. So they wanted, the wife's mother's family, they're all Moroccan. So this is like a traditional Moroccan dish for them. Done actually this way. But if you don't have the tangine, this is exactly how they do it, and that's how they dice it. So what I do to cut my turnip, it's a little bit denser. I'm going to take off the top and the bottom, just so it makes it easier to dice. You can use it, you don't have to. You do not have to peel it, but make sure you wash it, because they grow in the ground just like carrots and all that. They get quite dirty. So once again, medium dice. But what I want to try to do is keep them. The reason why I'm dicing these all medium is to keep them all the same size, so that way they all cook just about the exact same way, the exact same time. We don't have mush and we don't have hard as rocks. Now remember, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, just mix it. But if you don't feel comfortable and it ends up all over the floor, don't say any more. So we're going to take our carrots, snip off the bottoms, snip off the tops. The carrots have been washed, but they have not been peeled. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut the carrots on the bias. So once again, carrots are a root vegetable. They're very fibrous, so they take longer to cook, much longer than the peppers and the onions will. So we're going to cut them thinner, give them more surface area, so that when they cook at almost the exact same amount of time. Now, one of the keynotes of Moroccan cooking is that they mix the savory and the sweet, or they'll use sweet items in savory dishes. So, yeah, sorry, good. That's good. So what we're going to do is, right now we're going to add all of our fat-soluble spices. Fat-soluble spice is a spice that releases its aromas when it comes into contact with butter or oil or fat dishes. So that's turmeric and allspice and cinnamon. Now I'm using whole cinnamon sticks rather than ground cinnamon. You get a better, much milder flavor out of it. It's a deeper, richer flavor rather than just using ground cinnamon, which honestly, unless you're grinding it fresh, it's gonna come out bitter. You can also use whole allspice rather than ground allspice. I didn't have whole allspice, so we're gonna use ground. And I cut down on the amount. So if you notice, as soon as we added those, it starts to change the color, but it also opens up the flavors of everything that we have going in. So thank you very much. So as soon as you smell that, they're ready to be added to. In traditional Moroccan cuisine, I'm going to try and juggle these. Okay. In traditional Moroccan cuisine, what they'll normally do, because lemons are so prevalent there, they cure their lemons. What they'll do is they'll take the lemons, cut them in half, put them into a jar with salt, sugar, and let them sit for, I don't know, about a week. It sounds really funky, but it adds a really cool flavor to the food and they also don't have stick anymore. But it adds a depth to the food. It's not so much, it's like a sweet, salty, lemony kind of thing, or kind of flavor to it.
Do they cover them completely, or is it just the bottom where it's cut? Or salt and sugar?
No, they cover the whole. It's like what
like
they'll traditionally do is they'll put a layer of lemon, a layer of salt, a layer of no problem. A layer of lemon, a layer of salt, a layer of sugar, and then just seal the jar and let it sit out. And they just cure. And it is the most interesting flavor you could ever think of, or that you could ever smell. Yes.
Slice lemons or like what you did? Slice the lemons or like what you did?
Cut them in half.
Just in half?
Cut them in half, coat them,
And that's it?
and then just layer them. So we have our lemons in there. We have our all of our fat-soluble spices, and the next thing we're going to add is our white wine, and hopefully we'll get what I want. Okay, good stuff. So now we start adding our liquid. This is when we add our saffron. Saffron is a spice that grows all over the Mediterranean. It is from the crocus flower. It's the stamen of the crocus flower. So for each flower, there are only 2 little saffrons. So think about it like this: if you own, let's say, a whole field of crocuses, you might get an ounce out of it, which is why saffron is almost the most expensive spice. It ranges anywhere from $75 an ounce up to like $150 an ounce, depending on the quality of the saffron. What's that? Yes, you should. Yes, you should. So we got that. Now we're going to add our chicken stock. Add a quart of chicken stock. You can use, depending on what kind of protein that you're using, that's the kind of stock you want to use, just to kind of, let it all come together. So we leave this here, bring it up to a simmer. As soon as your vegetables come up to a simmer, pour it on top of the chicken, cover it, we just throw it right into the oven, just let it slow cook, 350 till the chicken is tender. Could take about an hour, could take 45 minutes depending on how well you seared your chicken. But one of the key things is that you want to keep it sealed and just low, but you don't want it to go fast. Because if it goes fast, it's going to dry out. Your vegetables aren't going to cook right. Your chicken can go all. We don't want that at all.
How do you tell when it's done?
What I like to do, I like to set my. She asked, how do you know when it's done? When the chicken's done, I just take a guess. I know it's hard to do just based on the oven that you have and the kind of pan that you use, the thickness. Whether you use like two sheets of foil on top or one. You can also do this in like a clay pot and put it in your oven too. You can use Pyrex. It's all those variations will affect how fast your time is. The easiest way to do it, just to make sure that the chicken's cooked all the way through, use a meat thermometer, stick it right through the aluminum foil, try to figure out where a piece of chicken is. If it hits 165, it's cooked all the way through, which means you're good. But that doesn't necessarily mean that your tangine is done. It just means that your chicken is good. thing about the tangine is that you want that slow, buttery taste from everything that's in there. All the spices just slowly cook together, steam, or basically steam together. So that the easiest way to do it, I set my timer for about 45 minutes. Stick my thermometer in. If it hits 165, I'll check it to see where it's at, and then recover it and put it back in for power, and then check it every 15 to 20 minutes, just to see where the consistency is, and then go from there. That's easy. That's easy. So our vegetables have come up to a simmer, and what we're going to do is we're going to pull off the stove and cover our chicken. Get everything on there. Now, what a lot of people will do or will not do, depending on whether you like them or not, olives, are also all over the Mediterranean. Traditionally, it's green. Unfortunately, I didn't get any. I got the calamatas, but it adds like a nice little saltiness and sweetness to it, which is quite nice. So I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to check our couscous, and I think we're going to the next one.
Yep.